Hello and welcome to the Doctor's Corner. I'm your host as always, Dr. Mark Pinsky, and today we begin our age and weight management series. To do that, I can think of no better person to bring on than Mark McCoy. Mark and I have known each other for over 5 years now, and he is our personal consultant at Pinsky Medical Weight Management. I bring to you Mark McCoy because he also has a wealth of knowledge with all of wellness, all of fitness, and just good overall nutrition. Mark has trained literally thousands of athletes from an amateur level all the way up to a professional and Olympic level. So I give to you today Mr. Mark McCoy.
Wow, thanks. Appreciate that.
That's pretty good, huh? Yeah. Not so bad.
Go with that.
You're like, who is that?
Yeah.
Anyway, Mark, it's great to see you.
Thank you.
Again, we'll do this a lot because I enjoy your wealth of knowledge. By the way, what I'd like you to do is you're going to rewind this multiple times, but you're probably going to want to get out a pen, because you're going to want to write down everything that Mark talks about. He really is a wealth of knowledge. All right, today let's start by talking about something that's very passionate for you and I, reactive versus proactive healthcare.
Yep.
I'm going to ask you to give your definitions of what you believe that is, and
Sure.
I'll chime in to my belief as well.
Sure.
We'll go from there.
Yeah. And I'll caveat this by saying that all medical practitioners have their place. And philosophy and understanding and specialties, they all have a place in our journey of life. But there's two main philosophies, and this is where I have this passionate attachment to it. But I believe in the proactive versus reactive. One is a foundation up approach, the proactive side. And these are your daily habits, the things that you will do on a daily basis that impact your body's ability to stay youthful, active, energetic, high immune function, just overall quality of life. And if you do that correctly, then you should be staving off and not needing the reactive side of medicine nearly as often or as much. I mean, if you get in a car accident, you blow out your knee, I'm glad an orthopedic is available. Right. Fix that knee, get back into life at full value. But, there's a lot of things we do. I mean, the statistics show that, average American is on 5 prescription medications.
Right. So interestingly enough, I'm taking a course next week, which talks about exactly this. It talks about how to reverse cardiovascular disease all through non-medical, non-pharmacological means.
There you go.
So I'm very excited about that.
Because I like working with this guy.
It fits right into our philosophy.
Yes,
And of course,
yes.
Those of you who know I practice a different type of medicine, MDVIP, which is a personal healthcare model. And what we do is, of course, we do traditional Western medicine, which Mark refers to, but our real approach is to get people to be proactive in their life and take control of their life through whatever means they can possibly do. So let's talk about that. How do people start to take control of their life? What does that mean, and where do they go?
Yeah, and right off that philosophy where the reactive medicine is symptoms down, the proactive side of medicine is foundation up. So really what you're doing is taking steps, even the mildest of steps. The 2 biggest health tips in the world is get enough sleep per night, and number 2, be sure you're fully hydrated. If those 2 things are missed, it's like a cascade effect that has hindered all of the things that come after that. So as we look at this foundation up approach, you're removing each and every little variable that could be a contributor to what symptoms a medical practitioner is addressing. He or she may not know where it's coming from. So if you're able to remove all these lower variables, that all of a sudden your quality of life went through the roof and you didn't even have the issue you were dealing with. It's so much easier. So you asked the question very, very succinctly there, where do you start? Like what is the steps? And really, and everybody will relate to this, they're always told it's diet and exercise.
Right.
And in the professional world, we know it's not 2 steps. And I'll just venture to throw this out there. What's the first 3 letters of the word diet? Right? We say this at our seminars. We get a reaction from the crowd. And people always say, oh my gosh, it's die. And yes, it's accelerated aging. But everybody wants to feel younger, look younger, have more vitality and just energy, the zest for life. So at any age, if you're doing the correct steps on a daily basis, you slow the aging process, you manage weight better, you have higher immune function, and that zest is there.
Right.
So foundation up approach is not 2 steps of just diet and exercise. Right. I mean, every high school biology class had this word they taught you called homeostasis, right? It's a true state of balance. And we jokingly say, well, they never tell you the steps to create homeostatic balance, and it's really the proactive side. There's 4 steps to it. Right. And in the first phase, which there's 4 steps in our process, number 1 is testing. We want to know where you are. We use in-body testing or quality body fat analysis to make sure that we know your lean body mass, your ideal goal body weight. And then, of course, on the medical side, you're dealing with anything that's a medical aspect. And on my side, and what we deal with is everything that's the proactive action steps. Right. And with that testing, we can more accurately dial in somebody's goal weight. We know exactly where it should be. We know what the nutritional numbers are supposed to be from that. Because you always feed the body you want. You hydrate the body you have. You never want to be dehydrated, but if someone's 100 pounds overweight, that's not the numbers of food you're supposed to be eating. So the problem with dieting is it's malnourishment, and it's usually under caloric intake. Right. And if you're below the minimum need, it tells the metabolism to slow down, not accelerate. So the joke again is, oh my gosh, I binged on broccoli. Said no one ever, right? So if you're eating clean and you're eating abundant, but you're balanced, if your body is efficient as an 18-year-old, but your nutrition is optimized, there is nowhere to go but up metabolism-wise, and your body's going to react accordingly in its health and everything else. Right. So that process is 4 steps. And just so you guys know that are taking notes, number 1, testing, just know where your start point is and get the proper finish point. Start with the end in mind and reverse engineer. Always know your goal. And once you have that testing done, then you can easily start to look at the strategy. That strategy starts out with rebalancing. So the balance step is number 2.
All right, let's stop there.
Okay.
So what Mark is referring to is there's a special scale called an in-body scale.
Yep.
That scale, you can find it, certain gyms will have that. I have that as a part of my weight management program, as a part of my people who want to improve their sports performance. So it's one of those scales that never goes out. It's one of those things where we measure your total body water. We know your total body fat mass. We know your skeletal muscle mass, and we know your percent body fat. And what Mark's trying to get is we have this starting place for you. We know where you really are, what your basal metabolic rate, the amount of calories you really need to sustain your day versus how much you may really want. And based upon that, we can figure out what your needs really are. And Mark's the best at doing that. He's like a master at doing that. And science is science. You can't fake out science.
We're just regurgitating.
Right.
Tens of thousands of athletes over decades of time.
Correct.
Has proven this to work over and over and over.
Right.
Nothing's original from me. I'm just packaging it a little bit different.
Right, right. Yeah. So it's exactly right. Yeah. So this kind of explains what I think is true, why so many people don't make appropriate gains, in this case losses, or muscle gains, because they don't really know the appropriate steps to take to get themselves to that place.
Yeah.
Right?
You ever heard people say, line up the dots?
Right.
What are the dots? How many are there? Right? There's 8.
Right.
There's 8 dots in Olympic protocol. Right. There's 4 categories, including the testing, but once you're past that, it's the 3 phases. Right. So that first step, just to reiterate for those taking notes, I don't want to leave you out. First was testing, second was balance. But once you've gone through the rebalancing steps, which was 4 of steps in that stage, then you move into the nutrition steps, which is the next 2. Right. So once you get to the nutrition, it's optimal nutrition, not minimal nutrition. Right. You don't want to voluntarily throw yourself to a third world country and be malnourished. Right. It's not we have food available. We need to have the building materials to the lean body mass, and you make sure that your body is getting all of the signals metabolically, nutritionally, immune function, brain. You ever gone on a diet low carb and you can't even think straight? Right. People may know they drive home from work and they think about it and they go, was that light red or green? They don't even remember the drive home. They're on autopilot, and the brain is working on this subconscious level, and they don't even have enough carbohydrates for comprehension. So it's not a safe way to drive.
No. So we're going to talk about this. We're going to do a whole show on different quote-unquote diets and the fads that are out there and why we think that they're not very good for you. And, of course, the ketogenic diet has probably dominated here over the last couple of years. And, I'm going to tell you from my medical perspective why it's not. Mark will tell you from the practical side of when he trains people why it's not a great idea, but that's just one example. All right, so I'll go back a little bit to the balancing step, right? So now we test people. Talk to a little bit about what does it mean to really balance somebody?
18-year-old efficiency. You realize that an 18-year-old can eat a medium pizza a week and never gain a pound.
Right.
Right, and then I have a lot of clients that will come to me and they said, oh, I blew my diet this weekend. And all they had was 2 slices of pizza and a piece of birthday cake at their child's party. And they gained 3 pounds over the weekend.
Right.
When they were 18, burned it off like it was nothing. Right. So the process now is, what's different from 18 till now? It's not age, it's efficiency. Yeah. So sarcopenia, muscle mass loss due to aging, all of these diagnoses are actually in this proactive side of healthcare. We just define it as bad environment over time.
Right.
This is not a medical condition. It's just wrong habits.
So basically what you're saying is you could still have that if you recreated that 18-year-old body. And of course people go, well, I can't create that. You can create that if you stimulate your metabolic rate to the place where you were when you were 18. And that's sort of what Mark's trying to get at. You don't have to deprive yourself of forever of that piece of pizza, of that cake. We do that all the time when we talk with people in the medical weight loss program. Please don't think that you have to be perfect all the time. It is never going to happen. If you do that, you're setting yourself up for failure. So.
And then the stress hormone cortisol kicks in because you're freaked out.
So now cortisol goes up. Now your body stresses out. Now you really can't lose weight. It holds on to everything. There is going to be no fat loss in that. Okay, let's go there for a second. Okay, the difference between actual weight loss and fat loss. It's a subject near and dear to both of our hearts. So talk about that concept.
Right. Okay. So I love this part of my seminars when I'm coaching or I'm certifying personal trainers or I'm teaching large groups and lunch and learns, whatever we're doing. I ask the question up front. Raise your hand, and you can do this at home if you want to. Raise your hand if you want weight loss. Raise your hand if you want fat loss. Right. And the reason is most people believe weight means fat.
Correct.
No. You could cut your right arm off. Right. You're lighter.
I tell everybody, you want to lose weight? That's what I use your example. I take a limb off, or we'll send you to Ethiopia. You'll lose plenty of weight.
Yep, there's no choice.
There's no choice.
Right, but the problem with it is that you go to a weight loss clinic or you hear a commercial for a fat burner on TV. I know one just hits me right now. It says 72% of all weight loss was pure fat. I'm like, what was the other 28%? It's not all fat, right? So when you're dealing with muscle loss or you're dealing with bone density loss or organ health or brain health, it's generally malnutrition.
Right.
You're underfed. We don't want to lose any of the healthy. We want to create more muscle tone. We want to create more vibrance.
Right.
So the youthful side of things says efficiency first.
Correct.
Then your nutrition plan has accurate numbers. Because if you go on a nutrition plan and you're only, say, 50% efficient, that plan is half of the plan you thought it was because you didn't do the reset.
Right.
But once you've done the reset and you get the right nutrition, it's 4 times more efficient on average on all of our tests to the average person who's dabbling in the diet world, which is 80% of the information in America. It's not wrong. It's just different. So if you're looking for a short-term fix, a lot of them work. But if you understand what yo-yoing is and you want to have a long-term solution, you only have to do it once, do it right, stay fit for life. I say that all the time because I'm tired of the people that say, I lost 12 pounds in my first 4 weeks. They had 6 pounds in the next 4 weeks, 2 pounds in the next 4 weeks, and then gained back 27 in the next 6.
Right.
And then they're sitting in front of me going, what gives?
What gives, right.
Right.
So this is the same concept that we talk about. It's the way the program was devised. So one of the ways we try to get people to realize is, hey, listen, what are we trying to do here? I'm trying to make you healthy for life. I'm not trying to make you healthy so you can go on your cruise. I'm not trying to make you healthy so you get through the holidays. I'm not trying to make you healthy till your next birthday. The whole idea, and that's when people come to the program and they say, listen, well, I can't do the program right now because it's getting too close to the holidays. So I can't do it. And I tell them this, but the holidays are coming next year. And then the year after that. So it's never going to change. So we really need to hone in on life.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So after they get done with, the first part and of identifying, they do the in-body scale. They do the balance part. Now go to the next phase.
And that's the nutrition part.
Right.
So balance feed.
Right.
Once we've tested, we can now know exactly where to go.
Right.
And just so you know, in the balance step, a lot of people don't realize these are free steps. You literally can go online, take a HIPAA-compliant health assessment, and get your micronutrition balanced out to know exactly what that person is individual to any other person. Understand what you're supposed to be doing. And believe me, if you had every nutritionist on the planet sitting there, There's like over 6,000 algorithms that are set aside to be sure that all of the nutrition research is giving you the answers, and the report pops up immediately for free. We love this because it's non-biased in any way, shape, or form. We're literally getting that. We're not playing expert. They are the experts.
I love it.
So once that's done, and we know how to get the strategy for rebalancing, and of course, just so you guys know the 4 steps there, if you are taking the notes, then balancing. Number 1 is oxygen. Most important thing you put in your body is oxygen. And this is, of course, the cleanse and detox phase is number 1. It's just, I'm sorry, I'm skipping around. But number 1 is cleanse and detox. And that happens automatically as you're going through the system. With the enzymes, the fiber in your diet, the things you're doing that are correct, it's going to help your body to clean the system, to be more efficient, while adding in the micronutrition to feed the cell structure. But you need to be hydrated enough and oxygenated enough. So it's cleanse, oxygen, water, micronutrition. Those are the 4 in order, first 4 steps. And when the oxygen level, which is your B vitamins, it's in the micronutrition that carries the oxygen. And as we know, 80% of Americans are B vitamin deficient. So this is why most people crave energy drinks and coffee and diet soda in the afternoon. And all of those things that could have a little negative effect should be just more B vitamins in their diet and hydration. And they would have had all those natural energy levels in addition to what they could have gotten from a small caffeine drink or something. And they would have had twice the effect, and it would have lasted all day.
Yeah, just a little personal anecdote there, because I preach this stuff. I've preached it for years, but until I really did the simplest thing, water. Until I really pounded the water, which it takes your body a while to get used to. And yes, you're going to be going to the bathroom quite a bit, but then your body will acclimate
and detoxing.
Down. And you are detoxing. That's the whole purpose of it.
Yes.
It's so much better. I'm so much less tired. I have so much more energy. And then adding the appropriate amount of B-complex vitamins on top of that has really made the world of difference in my own personal. So I agree with that. Go ahead.
Perfect. So, no, that's great. So really the cleanse, oxygen, water, and micronutrition are the 4 steps to create balance or homeostasis. This allows the body to respond like they're 18 to 20 years old. And it's not an official age, but I'm saying you're back to younger years in efficiency. So that caveat says that now when we do the macronutrition, your proteins, fats, and carbs, based on the goal weight, the body is getting the optimal level of nutrition into an efficient body. Those numbers are accurate, the body responds, and the vibrance comes very quickly. So then it moves to the last phase of move, balance, feed, and move. When you add an exercise plan, you are now 4 times more efficient doing it. So the question would remain, if somebody has a gym membership and they want to go in, would you rather spend an hour on a treadmill or on a workout program, or 15 minutes for the exact same result? Right. It's a no-brainer.
No-brainer. Yeah. So one of the things that we've done is there's also a way to figure out what's appropriate for you in that realm too, through appropriate DNA testing. So we've started to
deeper dive.
So we've gone into a way deeper, which we will discuss in another show, because that I could take up all 15 minutes on my own doing that show. Yeah. So that's pretty good. Okay, go ahead, finish.
The last step is move. So test, balance, feed, and move. This accuracy allows someone to pull their body into that proactive approach, and they're eliminating all of the different variables on the foundation, working their way back up, and that allows the result to be more predictable and sustainable. That person doesn't have to be on the, if you've ever said these words, folks, and I'm telling you, we hear this all the time. I've tried every system on the planet. Every system in the diet world. Yes.
That's exactly right.
So I get it.
So this is the first part of a series that Mark and I will do, and we'll continue to talk about age and health management and weight management and fat loss. And Mark will be back many, many times over the next several weeks to do this as we head into the holiday season, and particularly into the new year. So this is only the beginning, folks. So you have plenty of time to digest this. If you have questions for Mark or questions for myself, you can reach us at drmarkscorner@gmail.com. That's Dr. Mark's Corner. It'll be on the bottom of your screen, drmarkscorner@gmail.com. We welcome any of your questions. We'll do the best to answer those on a weekly basis for you. And again, for Mark McCoy, I am Dr. Mark Pinsky. You've been watching The Doctor's Corner.